So whenever you get it going, I can go ahead and continue the board meetings are audio recorded, posted on the board website. Board meetings will soft stop at 8 p.m. and hard stop at 8:30. We'll delay stuff until the next meeting. If that means it's got to be a special meeting, then that's the next meeting. But we're not going to sit around here till 9:30, 10 o'clock. We'll just have more meetings if that's what it takes. Okay, the approval of the minutes. Did anybody have any comments on the minutes or ready to approve it? Need a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Okay. All right, motion. You know, are you trying to take notes, Carol? I should have. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay. So motion by Carol, second by Mike. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, nobody's opposed. Now we've got the treasurer report. And like I said, Janet's not here. The money market account, or the treasurer's report, has got general checking account, $2,724.98. We moved $65,000 to cover the checks that we're going to talk about in a minute. There was one check voided for $1,007. That was the preferred insurance. And then we've got one that's still open that we approved last month for $7,905 with Stones Aquatic that, Larry, you'll have to address later. We may need to do something there, but that's your discussion, not mine. Let's see. So that all balances out to $62,23.39, and then we've got current checks. Shirley Phillips at $1,054.47. Cobb and Gonzalez at $850.75. Hans, if that one's wrong, just let me know and we'll get it corrected however you want it corrected. Darla Mayo, $1,252.89. For your information, this is Darla's final, she resigned effective immediately. The Forest Groundworks Incorporated, $23.44. Hanson Professional Services, $16,528.62. Lee's Pump and Valve, $4,500. There was a $38.58 check number voided. Tom Hawquist, $250. There's another Cobb and Gonzalez here for $2,000. And then Clay Electric was an electronic funds transfer of $47. So total current checks for the current month, $28,827.73. So all of that would add up and give you a balance of $23,995.66. And then we go into the public funds money market checking. The balance as of April 1st was $1,294,180.83. Prior month's deposits was $53,417.63. Prior month transfers from public funds money market was $65,000. And prior month's interest was $2,084. And current month deposit was the $25,000. Yeah, I mean transfer from the money market funds. So current public funds money market checking account balance $1,259,683.42, and then you add the $23.95 to it, you're at $1,262,079.08. Any questions? A motion to approve the treasurer's report and check number 3852 through 3848 and the EFT to Clay Electric.
Make a motion to approve the treasurer's report as reported on this group of papers and check number 3852 through 3848 and EFT to Clay Electric.
Okay, motion and second, same people. Any questions, discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, unanimous. All right. Oh, let's go ahead and cover this while we're at it. Mary Ann Majors is the auditor for us. She will be coming to our next meeting, and we will finalize the audit at the next meeting, June the 4th, I believe it is. And she will want to pick up her check when she's here. Her check is $10,125. Why don't we go ahead and get a motion to go ahead and get her check prepared? We will present it to her at the meeting, though, so that way we're sure all the audit stuff is done. And if it's not done, it's going to be somebody other than her. It's
I
probably
make a
me.
motion that we prepare a check for our auditor, Mary Ann Mayers, and have it ready for our next meeting in the amount of $10,000.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion and second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody? So we got that done.
Who seconded that?
Tom Leahy. Okay, checking money market. The board knows, but this is a good time to mention that Tom Hallquist is resigning, 30-day notice, and he has transferred his information to me. Janet is sick, so some of it should have gone to her, but she's not here, so we appreciate what you've done, Tom, and thank you very much. Let's see, staff reports.
Chairman, may I interrupt for a moment, please?
I think so.
With the upcoming budget and everything we have going on, I just wanted to ask our accountant for his reasons for leaving, if he's comfortable sharing.
No, I'm not comfortable.
For the information, though, I did ask him if he would stick around through June's meeting and/or July, because we do have the budget going on, and he will not do that, so that's okay. We move on. The district attorney, anything else, Tom, you want to add?
No.
Okay, thank you. District attorney, I think one of the things obviously now is you're going to need to advertise for us for a CPA, maybe even a website administrator. She was supposed to give, Darla was supposed to give us information on what all she does and how she does it and all that. Did you get that, or did anybody get it?
I will talk to her, but that webmaster is pretty well defined, and we can put together a scope.
Well, her email when she resigned said that she would be providing us with,
Okay.
To get
I
that done.
don't know where that will go to.
I've got the folder. I was gonna give it to Shirley tonight, but she's not here tonight, so next time I see her, I'll pass that along.
I'd like to see a copy of that, if possible. Yeah.
Is that the booklet we're talking about? Or the resignation?
That is her booklet's kind of a.
For protocols? and all
Yes,
that?
it's how, these are the passwords for the sites, this is how you change the site, this is how you access this, that, and the other.
Okay.
Her master files,
So that's
basically.
what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, and then we can fill in as needed for Hans to put together a proper job description.
Diane is messaging me. three different ways. Perhaps Tom is not there. Here, I'll just call her on my phone, maybe. So you're gonna give him a copy? Too?
Unless the board objects, yes.
Okay.
What's Darla's last name?
Mayo.
Mayor?
M-A-Y-O.
Mayo. Oh, Mayo, like Mayo.
Yeah.
You have Darla Mayo.
Yep, right.
Chairman, can I add something before you move on?
I'm just trying to call her to get her hooked up.
Before this meeting ends, at some point, just vote to approve
Diane?
me drafting and publishing
Hey,
RFQ for
sorry
a
about
CPA
that.
spot.
We'll try to put you on not on the speaker, but we'll try to. What we need to do, you're connected to me. So I'm gonna put you on mute. What do I do with her?
Who is that?
Diane?
Yeah, just put it on mute. If she wants to speak, we can hold it up to a microphone.
Okay. Or can you, wait a minute. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, I'm gonna mute you then. I don't know how you're gonna tell me when you wanna speak, if you wanna speak.
Well, you're the one that's on mute. I think she can still, you should still.
Okay, all right. So you just speak up and we'll try to hear you.
Okay.
I do have my hearing aids on tonight.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
And,
Okay.
and regarding Darla's position, I don't know how intensive her scope is. I take it that it's not that involved. So if you think Shirley can handle those tasks, then maybe you don't need me to do an
No,
RFQ for that.
I don't think Shirley can handle that.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what she does, but I was just,
Yeah, you'll
She
need
doesn't have that
someone
skill set.
qualified to,
yeah, well, I don't know what she does, but I know I saw that email from Darla where she said she had a tutorial and a step-by-step, but, so if that's the case, then that's fine. Then you all need to vote to have me publish an RFQ for the CPA role and then for Darla's role.
But there's no sound coming through.
okay, yeah, we're gonna have to take her off mute. Yeah, we'll have to leave you off mute.
Can you hear now, Diane?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's the operator error.
Yeah, that's
Must
mine.
be you instead of me.
I will mute on my end.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So I don't know, you familiar with, I'm not familiar with Webmasters or whatever Darla does, are you?
I would make a motion that we will need a job description written and a proper advertisements.
Yeah, that's
for-
why I would
for
like
new
Darla to
web-
provide a
new
scope.
webmaster.
But you said you have a list of what she does or a scope of what she does, whatever.
Not a list of what she does, her,
Yeah. I'll put
for
that
what she
together.
does, steps how to do it.
Gotcha.
You go to this site, you put in these credentials, you click on this button, and that's how you change blah, blah, blah. That sort of nature.
Yeah.
I'll just need enough to put in
Be a high level.
to describe what
6
it
or
is
8
we're
bullet
looking for.
points. Yeah.
Well, one of the things we need, and I know this subject has come up before about did she have a contract? Did we have a contract with her? And I think the answer was no. So we should, and she resigned effective immediately. So we should have a contract. I mean, you could get hit by a beer truck on the way home and killed and so what difference does it make? But I think that's should be a normal way we do business. It is with most people, so.
Hans, you were mentioning an RFQ for the webmaster. Is there a reason we couldn't just go out for quotes on something that's going to be less than, probably less than $10,000 a year for something where they meet minimum qualifications?
Yeah, that's fine. I don't know enough about her role or what she was being paid, but if it's probably not necessary to do that. But if we're not sure where to look or what she did, I'm just offering that up. We definitely should do it for the CPA role just to make sure we get.
There's another thing we might do, is go back to Darla and ask her for recommendations, because they all know each other.
Sure.
She might come up with somebody and you
Yeah.
don't have to do anything.
Yep.
I've got one more question for Tom. Would you be willing and comfortable to put together I say put together a scope, to give us a few pointers that would help point us in the direction for crafting a quality scope for your position.
I got a copy of the contract, his contract that has the list of what his scope was, so I can just use that unless you think something's changed from that.
Only one thing's changed on the contract, and that is to make a digital copy of each month's paperwork.
Okay.
Okay. We're down to the district secretary, but she's absent. The Hanson update. We've got 2 contracts with Hanson, and we get into the budget, I'll share some more information about where we're at on that and what the balance is going to be for the, as a guess for the balance of the year and then for next fiscal year. But Hanson is still working on 3 things. One is the survey. The survey, they got a preliminary report from the surveyor that did all this work on a lot of different things, from trees to floor elevations on the people below the dam, some of those houses, and even some that are further away from the ones immediately below the dam. Road elevations, road, yeah. So they did a lot of surveying. He has not got the final report from them yet, so that is still open. On the geotechnical front, he got the report from those guys this week and had a meeting with them this week. And while there are some areas that have some soft, let's call it soft soil conditions, there was nothing that we didn't know that was of concern, that jumped up and said, hey, we've got a big problem here. So, so that should be okay. Doesn't mean we don't have things to do, like we've got some seepage like on Lake Ryan, where that big pine tree is. It's got some roots growing, so we've got some work that we'll have to do. But as far as any real imminent, serious concern item, they didn't come up with anything. We still obviously have the pipe that go under the dam, all the dams that were sleeved with the hard HD pipe and then grouted around them. So that obviously is still a big issue from Tracy Wood's group.
Is that on somebody's report?
Yeah. It's in the report that they gave us on October, in October.
Do you have copies of the reports that you're talking about that we have?
You got them.
I do, because I just updated my email and I don't have anything.
It would have been a hard copy given out here.
The new report from the survey that you just finished,
No, I don't have that either.
you don't have that report?
No, they haven't gotten the final on that yet.
Okay, and then the geotech, did you get a report on that?
He just had a meeting with them this past week, but no report yet. So, and then the biggest thing that will drive our next subject to a certain extent too is what's the situation with St. John Water Management District? They've had, from a permitting standpoint, what is the permitting criteria going to be? And what are they going to have to design to? What is all that going to look like? They've had a meeting. I participated in that, they had done this. What do they call it? I never can remember the proper word, but they did an analysis comparing to different flood stages.
Incremental analysis.
Incremental analysis, there you go, thank you. I don't know why it's so hard, but I never can. It doesn't just jump out there at me, it never has. So the Bergman Group were doing that incremental analysis. They got it pretty far along. They decided they would go ahead and approach St. John Water Management District, and they did. And the St. John Water Management District guys, a guy named Miracle, David Miracle, I think, and Fry, Mr. Fry, the guy, he's been around, been out here a lot. What they said was, let us go back to our bosses and don't do any more work because you've spent a lot of time and effort and money, and let us see what we can do to help you get through this process. So they did, and the feedback was, you guys need to look at some way of telling us what it would cost, that it's cost, some way of displaying to us that it's probably cost prohibitive to go to full PMP. And either it's cost prohibitive or there's some other prohibition like construction space or things like that. So they said, look at anything like that and come back to us with a more or less a discussion and proposal as to what they suggest. And it's going to be less than PMP for sure. It's probably going to be half PMP, and I would guess that that's more or less where it'll be. So they're working on that. What they're doing is trying to put a CAD drawing together that shows existing. Let's take the North Lake, the existing two pipes, the existing spillway, and then go to a full, what would a full PMP layout look like, assuming you could do that. You got the space to do it, and then do a half PMP and maybe one other one to present to St. John Water Management District for discussion purposes. So that's where they stand. They're in the process of doing that. Once they get to that point, then they will do some at least sketches to review with us and to review with the St. John Water Management District before they start detailed engineering work. So that's where they stand. Any questions?
How does that come on our Gantt chart there?
It still fits pretty well, Carol. I was looking at it from how much money we're going to have to account for before we get into the new fiscal year, and that stuff runs out in July. As far as those phases, here was the Gantt chart, and it's out into here is in the June, July timeframe. It showed a gap in there because they didn't know, if you notice this part here, it showed a gap in there because they didn't know whether things would, how long it'd take to get to this point. So they showed a gap, and then they show picking up again in August on design. But that means that, you know, they've got to have more agreement with St. John Water Management District. So.
Hopefully when we get that display between a half PMP and a full PMP, we'll reach a decision on what we're gonna do.
The challenge is to convince St. John Water Management District, who only has no permit criteria or full PMP permit criteria. So the challenge, and they're working with Hanson on trying to determine what that number is and being able to justify it where it would make sense. Because, you know, you're dealing with public safety and our own safety and the people below the dam safety and even others past those. So So they're not just gonna rubber stamp it and say, well, we'll give you half PMP. So,
I have a question. So Hanson's working with St. John's, or is there someone on the board that's party to these discussions?
I am.
Okay.
If you go back to our agreement with Hanson originally, we said that someone on the board, and at that time I was appointed as that someone, would be able to participate by Zoom or whatever their type of online system is in their meetings. And so far I've done that. So they seem, they don't seem disheartened or any, negative about anything that's gone on so far. That part of it anyway. So
So do they have some deadline, not a deadline, but they must have a milestone they're trying to work towards? Because we can't, all we can do budgetarily is make educated guesses without this PNP number and the final design. So,
yeah, and I talked with them about, and I'll tell you in a little bit how I arrived at numbers to fill in the gap between now and the end of this fiscal year and to plug in a guesstimate for the next fiscal year. And I'll give you a range too, so, that way you guys can listen to, it's simple, but you can listen to how I arrived at it, and you may have, you can pick numbers within that range, or you can create another number, but.
Budgets are guesses. Budgets are guesses.
They're guesses.
are these meetings recorded? Is there anything we can listen to in our
No,
spare
I
time?
don't think they're recorded.
The educational.
Okay, any other questions on the Hanson part? Let me jump on down to, then we'll talk about, before we talk about the budget, let me go on, since Janet's not here, and give you a little bit of information that I know of on the grant update situation. And as we go into the budget, then the grant is one of those unknowns too, but has significant impact on what we're doing with the assessments and the future. Tracy Wood is still a supporter and on our side as far as trying to get high hazard dam grants. And I don't know if you remember the discussion, but real quickly, the state had not determined who was going to have the responsibility to administer the high hazard FEMA grants. And it could have been the Dam Safety Officer Group, and it could have been the Department of Environmental Quality or Department of Environmental Protection. It wound up being Department of Environmental Protection. But this year, they didn't fund the darn thing from a state budget standpoint. So there is no file an application and congratulations, there's nobody had filed for it. So Tracy Woods was not happy at all, and makes us not happy at all. But that's the way it is. It's not the fact that FEMA doesn't have money either. So that's not good news. Now, the other thing that happened was just